we're all octopuses with extra tentacles deep down. We feel extra things.
I'm joined by someone really special, and we're here because Bangs, it is your album listening party event experience. Should we go with that?
Something. It's a celebration.
It's a celebration of a new project, very dear to your heart. Mm-hmm. You're a little bit nervous about it.
I feel those butterflies. It's exciting for sure.
I'm only excited. I'm like not nervous for you at all because it's great. I've heard it already. Yeah. You went away at quite an interesting time, and you didn't go missing.
Yeah.
But you kind of took a step back.
Yeah.
And it is very clear through the album that you were processing. You were, in a way, evolving, right? Like a Pokemon.
Yes.
You get into your next level. What made you decide this is the right time? You were ready to come back, and with such a vengeance as well.
I don't know. For me, like every decision I make, timing, what song comes next, all of that, it's really just an intuition thing. Okay. Like a gut instinct, and I just feel like I had a lot to write about, a lot to process, and I just. I wrote so many songs. I was writing for around 2 years. So I think just when you know it's done, it just feels done. And then the hardest part is just like choosing what is on the album out of all of the 2 years worth of songs that you've written. But it just felt right. I felt like I was ready. I missed it. I miss performing. I'm excited to get back out there again. So.
What was the hardest part about putting this project together, putting it out?
The hardest part for me is just putting yourself out there so much. Making the music is the easiest thing in my life. It's medicine for me. So it's like a natural process, like breathing, but actually putting it out is probably, it's like dangling your child out over a cliff and being like, tell me what you think.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing tonight as well. You've worked with some exciting people on the project, like Hadmo is on there, on the productions.
Yeah.
Are these connections that were made before? Were these specifically picked just for the album 3?
It was all like really natural how I met all of them. I was working with Buddy Ross a lot, and then I wrote Gimme. Yeah. With Buddy actually, and then I just felt like it needed like a thickness and a growl to it. And Hadmo is just he's the king of that. So we met up and we just vibed. You never know who you're going to connect with artistically, because sometimes you could think that someone's going to be great with you, and then you meet that. It's kind of like dating. It's like which energies work and who's inspiring, and it also depends on what you're going through in your life. It's like really in and out. There are some people that I connected with years ago that maybe right now we aren't on the same wavelength, but in a year we will be or something. So we just kind of collided at a really good time, and I feel like we were both felt inspiring, so it was awesome.
It's so interesting. I think on the album the tone of the lyrics is deep on every track throughout the whole album. But what's interesting about your songs is sometimes these deep lyrics very often about love, or the lack of love, or the longing for love. The theme is usually love, but your music that accompanies it can go from really deconstructed, synthy, poppy, and then sometimes you'd like completely strip it back, and we get something that I can imagine you doing acoustic. You just hear like a guitar. How do you make that decision? Because for a lot of people, on the first listen, you tend to assume that those are the most emotional songs. But when you listen closely to all the lyrics on even the darker and the harder songs, they're just as deep.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's like saying, what's deeper, sadness or lust? What's deeper, happiness or anger? Like there's not one deeper emotion. It's just they're all there and they're all real. And I started out writing on a piano, just my piano and a voice, and actually I play the piano and I don't play other instruments. So when I write since, you know, I was younger, like 15, whenever I heard like, oh, this should be like a synth line or a guitar line, I would like hum the melody. And that's how I started getting in the habit of doing chants on my music.
Right.
Because it was just like, I always just used to fill everything with voices. But I think, you know, just depending on what you're craving, like Stroke is a song that I felt like I wanted a lot of distortion, because when you're in a relationship like that, aka with like a narcissist, it's just, you know, it feels toxic, but it's almost like overwhelming, and it's almost addictive sometimes, and that can feel sexy, but it's can drown you. And I feel like that's why it needed so much like grit on it. But then there's a song, you know, like Made of Water, that is just raw, and I wanted it to be raw, and I wrote that on the piano, and initially it was just a lot of background chants as the instruments, and we added a few, but so it just kind of depends on the vibe. And then of course, you know, Look What You're Doing to Me with Francis, he's just pure fire, so we just were in that zone when we made that one, so it all depends kind of.
Will there be people who will feel personally addressed by this album? Are there going to be people who are going to listen to the project and think, oh.
Well, I hope. I mean, I hope that happens with every one of my songs forever, because I write about my life and I'm a human, and I just feel like humans, everyone's different, everyone has a different life, but there are some universal emotions, and I think I tap into them.
This album, when you listen to 3, it takes you all the way. Like, it gets you in your feelings, because I think you just say it, you just put it out there so simple. The words are simple and the message is so strong, and you just think, oh my God, Vance actually understands what I'm going through right now. And I don't know how to say this, I'm just going to let you say it. It's so raw. You've really put yourself out there.
Yeah.
What have you learned from making the album? Like, do you feel like you've come out on the other end a different artist? Different bands?
No, I'm always developing and growing and learning, and I dug deep when I was writing this album. I was going through a lot, and I had a lot of things that I was confronting, that probably since I was born I needed to confront, scripts in your head that you learn that might not be positive for you, and in order to change like those like guidelines that you've lived by that might not be healthy, you have to dive deep. And I feel like I was doing that, you know, talking about needing to learn how to let go, life is not black and white, being a perfectionist. I mean, I think that in this society, women are bred pretty much to hate themselves. It's almost an act of rebellion to love yourself. And I had this revelation. I was reading this book, Reincarnation Blues, and this crazy thing happened. It's a crazy book. You should read it. But I had this revelation that it's like everybody can be... You can't stop having predators, but you don't have to be the prey. There will always be predators, but you don't have to be the prey. And I had that revelation where I was like, I don't need to ever feel bad about myself, because the society can like try and shape you into feeling like that in ads and everything around, but I don't need to be the prey. So I was like, nah. And I feel like going through that, even though it's, you know, my album's not all about that, but I think that that's something as a woman is really important. I don't know one woman who is not affected by the toxicity in this
climate we live in.
Yeah, so I think that that was a big thing for me. And yeah, I mean, there's so much. Just being a human. Yeah. We're all octopuses with extra tentacles deep down. We feel extra things.
I'm with that. I like that you were just like, not me, not today. What is a misconception a lot of people tend to have about you, and why do you think that is?
I think people expect me to be really like... I'm a very soulful person, but I like very heavy and serious and dark all the time. And for me, I have those energies and I get it out in my music. And I think that's why I make music. And so I do that so I can be light. And so I'm quite goofy and weird and fun.
Fun to be around.
I mean, I don't know. It would be like, I swear I'm funny. Like I don't know how to wink, but I did it.
Crack a joke.
Yeah, but no, I'm not like this heavy, dark goth creature. I swear.
People think you're an artist 24/7 and you're always creating.
I think that art is therapy for me, and sometimes who you are in therapy is not who you are when you're trying to hang out.
Last one. Why are you going to be around forever? Why is Banks not going to go missing in the oversaturated music industry that we have at the moment?
Well, I feel like responding to that question would be almost like selling why I deserve a place on this earth. But I know that I say what is authentic to me and human and honest, and I hope people connect to it.
They have been for a long time. I'm really excited about the album. I can't wait for people to hear it. And I just want to tell you, as a fan, I think you should be really proud of what you've done. And I know Ayshe agrees with me as well. And thank you. Thank you for giving this to us.
This is awesome. I can't wait for tonight. I haven't played these for anyone, so it's going to be woo.
I mean, I'm just going to sit there and act like I had anything to do with that album. That's just what I'm going to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.